Hello students, today we'll start with Unit 1 which covers all the basic concepts of object-oriented programming language. So before I could go to the next slide, I want to ask one question to all of you. So last semester you have been studying a programming language, which was that C, right? So what is this programming language? Or why do you need this programming language? So a programming language, it acts as an intermediate that allows or that helps a human to interact with your computer, right? Now if I sit in front of my computer and tell him about my problems in English or Konkani, will he be able to understand it? Will he be able to solve my problems? No, right? Why is that? Because computer doesn't understand my native language. So I need to interact with the computer in his or her own language. So how will I interact with the computer? With the help of a programming language. So one such programming language you have already studied in the last semester, that is C. So this semester we will be studying another programming language called C++, which is an object-oriented programming language. Now what type of programming language is C? It's a structural or procedural programming language. That means if you want to solve the problem using structural programming language or procedural programming language, you solve the problem by dividing the problem into a set of function or set of procedures. That means it is a straightforward way of solving the problem or a sequential way of solving that problem. But now, if you want to solve the problem using object-oriented programming concept, how will you solve the problem? The problem is solved by using the concept of objects. So now definitely a question will arise in your mind, what is this object? Now if you are sitting in your room and watching this lecture, just gaze through your room and see what you find in your room. You find chairs, you find cupboards, you find a table there, you find a fan, a light, okay, you find so many objects there. So object is nothing but any entity. An object is any entity that you find in real world or non-real world. I'll explain you why did I say non-real world. Okay, so object, any entity is an object. Okay, a book, a pen, a iron box, a mobile phone, anything that is there beside you is an object or can be termed as an object. Okay, so any physical entity like mobile which you can touch, feel and hold is an object. Okay, for example, let me go to the next slide. I have a pen here, I have a blackboard here, a laptop over here, bench, a student, a projector. What are all these? All these are objects. What type of objects they are? Physical objects. These are the objects which we can touch, right? They are physically present there, right? Can an object be not visible to us but still be termed as object? Yes, they are called logical objects. For example, let us consider this slide. Now, there is a result page here of a student for a particular university. So, this result page is also an object. It's a logical object. I cannot touch it. Okay? It's a logical object. So, also, if I hold a bank account, so that bank account is also an object. What type of object is that? It's a logical object. So also I can hold an account in a social media. I can hold an account in my email. Okay, so all these accounts that I'm holding is referred to as object. So objects can be physical, objects can be logical. So when I'm trying to solve the problem using object-oriented programming language, I solve the problem using the concept of objects. But if I am using structural programming language like C, I solve the problem using the concept of functions. Right? I write many functions to solve my problem, which are executed in a sequential fashion. Whereas if I am using an object-oriented approach, just like C++, then I will solve that problem using the concept of objects. So there might be n such cars, and one of the cars out of those n cars refers to as object. And all the n cars belong to the class car. Okay, is it understandable? So in your class there might be 60 students. So all the students belong to which class? Class student. And one of the student, if I pick out one of the student from the class, like roll number 1, so he is the object of which class? Class student. Is it understandable? So the class here is student, and one of the student from that class refers to as object. If I take roll number 1, he is one object of class student. Roll number 2 is another object of class student. Roll number 3 is another object of class student. So also in this example, car is a class, and one particular specific car refers to object of this class. Which class? Car class. Okay, is it understandable? Okay, so let us take some more example on class. Now the first example that I have taken here is a person class. Okay, so a class has data members and member functions. Data members are also called features, also called as attributes. Okay, so what are the attributes of a person? The attributes of the person are name, age and weight. A person has a name, a person has an age, he also has a date of birth, he also has a height and weight. So these are all features of a person or attributes of a person. Technically it is called data members of a person class. Okay. Now apart from the data members, the class also contains functionalities or operations or member functions. So which are the member functions of this class person? The person can eat, he can drink, he can sleep, he can walk, he can talk. So these are all the operations that this person performs. Okay? So all these operations are performed using functions or member functions. Okay, so this is one of the example of classes.